We live on a planet of strict biological boundaries, where gravity dictates the limits of life. But millions of years ago, those laws were shattered. Welcome to a journey back to an era of impossible scale, as we count down the top 10 biggest dinosaurs to ever walk the Earth. Living fortresses, so massive, they completely redefined the limits of flesh and bone. Starting our countdown at number 10 is Brachiosaurus. Living over 160 million years ago in the lush, late Jurassic forests of what is now China, this giant was famous for an impossibly long neck that stretched over 15 meters. To move this massive structure, its neck bones were hollowed out by ancient evolution, working like a biological crane. If it stood on a modern city street, this titan could easily look straight into the window of a 5-story building. Weighing nearly 35 tons, a single Brachiosaurus carried the crushing mass of 7 fully grown African bush elephants combined. Coming in at number 9 is Sauroposeidon. Roaming the coastal floodplains of North America over 110 million years ago during the early Cretaceous, this titan was a living tower. To survive, its massive heart had to pump blood with immense pressure up to a brain that sat 18 meters in the air. If a Sauroposeidon stood directly behind a modern Boeing 737 passenger jet, its neck could easily reach over the entire length of the airplane's wing. With a staggering weight of nearly 50 tons, this single creature carried the crushing mass of 4 fully loaded heavy construction dump trucks combined. Holding the number 8 spot is the legendary Brachiosaurus. Living over 150 million years ago in the open floodplains of North America during the late Jurassic, this giant was built like a living fortress, with front legs much longer than its hind legs. Its massive heart weighed as much as a small car, just to pump blood through its towering body. If a Brachiosaurus stood next to a standard American school bus, its immense body would span the length of 2 buses parked end to end. With an estimated weight of 55 tons, this single animal carried the crushing mass of a modern M1 Abrams main battle tank. Holding the number 7 spot is Prehistoric, the tidal titan. Living 95 million years ago in the dense, treacherous mangrove swamps of what is now Egypt, this beast evolved a massive, low-slung body built to navigate deep mud. To prevent sinking into the primeval miasma, its wide, fleshy feet worked like massive snowshoes. If you placed a Prehistoric next to a modern railway line, its colossal body would stretch perfectly from one end of a passenger train car to the other. Weighing over 60 tons, this single swamp dweller possessed the crushing mass of 15 fully loaded London double-decker buses. Holding the number 6 spot is Dreadnoughtus, a name that literally means fearsome titan that fears nothing. Roaming the river valleys of Patagonia 77 million years ago during the late Cretaceous, this behemoth was built like a living mountain of pure muscle. Unlike other slender sauropods, its neck was incredibly thick, housing dense muscle columns. If a Dreadnoughtus stepped onto a modern NBA basketball court, its immense body would stretch perfectly from one baseline across the entire court to the opposite hoop. Weighing an astonishing 65 tons, this single apex herbivore carried the crushing mass of 12 fully equipped modern fire engines combined. Breaking into the top 5 is Notocolossus, the southern colossus. Roaming the arid, sun-scorched plains of Argentina 86 million years ago, this desert titan evolved a radical skeletal trait, a unique ultra-wide footpad with shortened bones that worked like a massive disc shock absorber against the crushing force of gravity. If you placed a Notocolossus in a modern American neighborhood, its massive, armor-plated back would easily tower over the roofline of a standard 2-story suburban house. Weighing over 70 tons, this single desert fortress possessed the crushing mass of 15 fully loaded heavy construction dump trucks. Patagonian was a biological masterpiece of pure scale. To support its 75-ton frame, its skeleton was a marvel of engineering, with massive vertebrae nearly 2 meters tall, hollowed out with air sacs to reduce weight without sacrificing strength. If a Patagonian Titan stood parallel to a modern 40-meter luxury mega yacht, its colossal chocolate-brown body would span almost the entire length of the vessel from bow to stern. Weighing as much as a modern space shuttle orbiter, this Titan was so heavy that each footstep exerted enough pressure to crack solid rock. A true king of the Cretaceous, whose size was only surpassed by the final 3 titans on our list. The spine of Brachiosaurus was a structural masterpiece. Its single vertebrae reached a staggering height of nearly 2.5 meters, towering over an average human. This extreme skeletal ridge supported an immense system of ligaments built to handle unimaginable mechanical stress. If a Brachiosaurus stood perfectly parallel to a modern high-speed passenger train, its ivory-white body and sprawling tail would stretch across the length of 4 full train cars. Weighing over 80 tons, this prehistoric mountain of bone and muscle carried the crushing mass of 40 modern luxury SUV vehicles combined. The skeletal remains of this unnamed titan, often called the Patagonian Goliath, completely shattered our understanding of dinosaur biology. This wasn't just a large animal, it was a biological impossibility with massive bones designed to withstand hundreds of tons of daily hydraulic pressure. Covered in armored, crocodile-like scales, this living fortress dominated its environment with a massive, muscular neck. If you placed it next to a modern suburban school, its impossibly broad, armored back would easily tower over the entire roofline of a 2-story building. Weighing an almost unbelievable 85 tons, this prehistoric nightmare carried the crushing mass of 12 fully equipped modern fire engines combined. Finally, at the absolute #1 spot stands the undisputed king of prehistory, Argentinosaurus. Roaming the Cretaceous floodplains of South America 95 million years ago, this walking mountain stretched the absolute physical limits of animal biology. Its bones were giant architectural pillars with single vertebrae standing over 1.5 meters tall. If an Argentinosaurus stepped onto a modern professional football field, its colossal body and endless tail would stretch across nearly half the entire length of the stadium pitch. Weighing a cataclysmic 95 tons, this single organic fortress carried the crushing mass of 15 fully loaded ocean shipping containers combined. Argentinosaurus was the absolute pinnacle of land-based evolution. But if we look beyond the dinosaurs and dive deep into our modern oceans, we find the true king of Earth, the blue whale. Weighing an unimaginable 190 tons, this single living mammal is twice as heavy as the largest dinosaur to ever walk the planet. Dinosaurs may have ruled the ancient land, but the ultimate limit of flesh and bone still swims in our waters today. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for our next journey into the impossible scale of history.